same time helping in the Rajbhog cooking or the dressing in the Brooklyn temple. So many ways Prabhuji is serving. So very, very wonderful example for all of us. And we are thankful for him to being here, spending his weekend. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Radha Madhava Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravan Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिराज आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशी श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिराज आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशी श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगामय यमुनामय की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Udirate Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiti Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakумарaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Today morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, chapter 6, verse number 1. We are discussing from 7th canto, chapter 1, entitled Prahalad Instructs His Demonic Schoolmates. Sri Prahalad Uvacha Komaram Acharet Pragyo Dharman Bhagavata Iha Dullabam Manusham Janma Tadapyam Adharam Atradam. Sri Prahalad Uvacha Komaram Acharet Pragyo Dharman Bhagavata Dullabam Manusham Janmam Manusha Janma Tadapyam Adharam Atradam Tadapyam Sri Prahalad Tadapyam Dhruvam Arthadam. Sri Prahalad Uvacha Omaramachret Pragyo Dharman Bhagavataya Dullabam Manusham Janma Tapyam Dhruvamadridam. Sri Prahalad Uvacha Komaramachret Pragyo Dharman Bhagavataya Dullabam Manusham Janma Tadapi Adradam Artadam. Vaishnavis. Sri Prahalad Uvacha Komaramachret Pragyo Dharman Bhagavataya Dullabam Manusham Janma Tadapyamadridam. Sri Prahalad Uvacha Komaramachret Pragyo Dharman Bhagavataya Dullabha Manusha Janma Tadapi Adramadritam. Word to word meaning. Sri Prahalad Uvacha. Prahalad Maharaj said, Komaram, in the tender age of childhood, Acharate, should practice Pragyan, one who is intelligent, Dharman, occupational duties, Bhagavatan, which are devotional service to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, in this life, Dullabam, very rarely obtained, Manushya, human, Janma, birth, Tat, that, Api, even, Adruham, impermanent temporary, Arthadam, full of meaning. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prahalad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of life, in other words, from the tender age of childhood, to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary, like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human form, human life, one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. Purport. The whole purpose of Vedic civilization and of the reading the Vedas is to attain the perfect stage of devotional service in human form of life. According to the Vedic system, therefore, from the very beginning of the life, the brahmachari system is introduced so that from one's very childhood, from the age of 5 years, one can practice modifying one's human activities so as to engage perfectly in devotional service. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Salpa, Salp, Salpa Asya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhat Bhahet. Even a little advancement on the path of even a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Modern civilization, not referring to the verdicts of Vedic literature, is so cruel to the members of the human society that instead of teaching children to become brahmacharis, it teaches mother to kill their children even in the womb. Jai Shri Radha Madhav ki jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ki jai, Gaunitai ki jai. Modern civilization, not referring to the verdict of the Vedic literatures, is so cruel to the members of the human society that instead of teaching the children to become brahmacharis, it is teaching mother to kill the children even in the womb, on the plea of curbing the increase of population. And if by chance a child is saved, he is educated only for sense gratification. Gradually, throughout the entire world, human society is losing interest in the perfection of life. Indeed, men are living like cats and dogs, spoiling the duration of the human life by actually preparing to transmigrate again to the degraded species among the 84 lakhs form of life. The Krishna conscious movement is anxious to serve human society by teaching people to perform devotional service, which can save a human being from being degraded again to animal life. As already stated by Prahalad Maharaj, Bhagavat Dharma consists of Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. In all the school, colleges and universities and at home, all children and youth should be taught to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, they should be taught to hear the instructions of Bhagavad Gita to put them into the practice in their lives and thus to become strong in devotional service, free from the fear of being degraded to animal life. Following Bhagavad Dharma has been made extremely easy in this age of Kali. The Shastra says, Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam eva kevalam, Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. One need only chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Everyone engaged in the practice of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra will completely cleanse from the core of his heart and be saved from the cycle of birth and death. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamisya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamischa Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Desatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। I feel so blessed to be here in the presence of all the devotees, especially, here in the presence of Neel Madhav Prabhu. From morning it was so ecstatic to dance in the Mangalarti with him, to be in the presence, chanting so sincerely, so attentively, So it was so wonderful to have this wonderful morning program here with so many devotees. In US, it's very, very rare, to sometimes we get a morning program with so many devotees. We hardly get a chance, whenever I traveled with Radhesham Prabhu, so I know most of the temples. It's like so rare that, so many devotees coming and participating in morning program, Only when special devotee comes, Maharaj comes, then only like we get a lot of devotees. But here, it was so wonderful to have so many devotees here. So wonderful. Very grateful to be here. Um, First of all, I like to seek blessings also of all devotees so that I can speak something on Srimad Bhagavatam, especially teachings of Prahalad Maharaj. Seek the blessings and take shelter of all devotees, especially Neel Madhav, Sundaranand Prabhu. This verse is a very beautiful verse, spoken by Srila Prabhupada so many times in his teachings, Almost if you search on Veda base, you'll find n number of times Srila Prabhupada has quoted this verse. And Srila Prabhupada almost like gave 8 to 9 lectures maybe on this verse, something like that. I was just going through few of his lectures, and then I found like maybe 8 to 9 lectures, or maybe little less. I exactly did not count the number, but it was many. And recently, when I choose this verse because I was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam class from Pune, and this section was going on. The devotee was telling this was one of the favorite verse of Mahavishnu Maharaj. And he was quoting this verse. He was telling his close disciples that they should learn few of these verses and should imbibe the teachings. And this was one of the verses. This was like so wonderful. Then when I heard, I thought, let me go and read this. And when I read this was such a beautiful verse. We read this again and again, but then coming across this verse, it's very wonderful. There are so many themes, in this verse which we can speak on, but I wanted to focus on three themes specially, in this verse. Especially the rarity of human form of life, which has been described here in this verse very strongly by Prahalad Maharaj, and about the education system, how the modern education system is not at all, not at all going good with the Vedic education system. The comparison between education system of modern education and the third thing was how a little practice of devotional service can save a person from greatest danger. This is something which is so very important for us to understand. Is it echoing a little bit? No? No? Okay. So these are the few themes which I thought I'll speak on. Um, you know, how this human form of life is so very rare. Just to start with something, I had an experience. We see so many. In one way, Shastras tell it's very very rare. But then what happens is we see that everyone has got human form of life. I am here as a human form. Everyone is here. We see, you go out, you see human form of life. And it becomes difficult actually. At Shastras tell it's very rare. Now it's very inconceivable for us to understand this thing. So for this I was just thinking, once I was there as a small boy, I was in my hometown, and then there I went to this sweet shop, where they were selling very nice sweets. So I was so surprised, that I was just thinking, as a small boy, this person might be really enjoying the sweets every day. Every day eating, rasgulla, gulab jamun, Mysore pak, or whatever sweets they are make. I think this person, the owner or some of the workers who are working, they might be eating the sweets every day. And I was thinking, wow, what a lucky persons they are. They are serving in sweet shop. They get an opportunity to eat. And then after I purchased my things, and then I asked, भैया आप तो बहुत अच्छे हैं ना, you are like very lucky na, you eat every day sweet. And this person told, once in a while we eat sweets. And I told, once in a while, why? Then he told, we see so much that we lose the desire to eat it only. Like the cook also, I have been serving in kitchen for 5-6 years, and we cook, then we lose our appetite to eat only. Even though we make one of the best halwas or best preparation, but we lose that appetite. Why? What happens? What is the reason? Familiarity. Actually, familiarity is the one thing which makes us think that, it's very common, very common. So we lose that thing of seeing it as very rare. What Shastras are telling, that human form of life is very rare, and we lose that rarity because we see it in so common. It's very rare. So, like this is one more example comes, Srila Prabhupada gives, no, so this familiarity actually, it's something which is so very contagious that, it makes us lose anything, even that opportunity to chant the holy name or to practice devotional service is lost because we become so familiar with our practices. So if we become familiar with things, if we become familiar with, the things around or the human form, then we lose that vision that, it's very, very rare. There is this sloka in Srimad Bhagavatam which tells, Labda sudurlabam idam bahu sambhavet manushya martadam anitya api dhira duram yatadna pade anumritya yavan nischaryasya vishayakulo sarvatas isayat. In this it is telling how rare it is. After many, many births and death, one achieves the rare human form of life, which although temporary, and and it is the only way which we can attain perfection. And this human form of life is very, the sober human person quickly endeavors for ultimate perfection of life as long as his body is there. And after all, the sense gratification is available in most abominable species of life. In this purport, Srila Prabhupada writes a very beautiful line, which came to my attention, was human form of life, however, enables one to understand the absolute truth and is therefore is full of grave responsibility. Grave responsibility. Most of the time we lose this graveness actually, or the responsibility, grave responsibility is lost because we become very, very familiar with this. And then Prabhupada writes, there is this valuable human form of life is eternal, but we achieve, we don't take it very seriously, and we lose an opportunity to achieve the highest perfection. That is Krishna consciousness. And it tells only one can experience Krishna consciousness in the association of devotees. Without this association, one is in danger of being attracted to the impersonal conception and may fall down from the practice of devotional service. So Prabhupada writes that it's a grave responsibility, such a grave responsibility. This sloka comes in the 11th canto. And there's one more similar sloka which was quoted by Muchukunda Maharaj. Muchukunda Maharaj quotes, in same verse, Labda jano dullabam artha manushyam echit avyayam avanta anagraha padaravindam na bhajante asanam rater grahanda kupam patito yatha purusha. That person has an impure mind who, despite having somehow or the other automatically obtained this rare and highly evolved human form of life, does not worship your lotus feet. Like an animal that has fallen into the blind well, such a person has fallen into the darkness of material home. Prabhupada writes very beautiful purport, just the 2 lines what I wanted to bring it to your head. Our real home is in the kingdom of God. Despite our tenacious determination to remain in our material home, death will rudely eject us from the theater of material affairs. What a sentence, quoted with so many adjectives just to make us understand what is the, our determination to stay in this material. And it's like we are putting so much determination just to stay in this material. We just don't want to go out. tenacious effort, tenacious determination to remain in this material world. But death will come so rudely that it will eject us from the theater. All the actors who are acting in the theater will be ejected actually, be thrown away from all the material affairs. It's so much, Prabhupada is just quoting in one line, such wonderfully he's quoting the exact uh, thing which is capturing the human being to stay in this material. This is verse number 10, 51, 46. This is Muchukunda's prayers to Krishna. What realizations he gets, he's just quoting these prayers. And this is so wonderful, Our real home is in the kingdom of God, despite our tenacious determination to remain in our material home. Death will rudely eject us from the theater of material. It's like, we sometimes, don't understand, I was just remembering the analogy of Srila Prabhupada, what he gives. He gives this analogy that, in Malya Hills, they Chandan is so much easily available. And the people there don't understand the value, what they have. What they use is, the old person, they use the Chandan to cook their own food, not understanding the value of what they have got. Same is with us also. We don't understand what we have got actually. We have got this human form of life which is very rare, so important. It is the only form which we have got which can help us to eject us from this material world. Or else a living entity is entrapped in the cycle of birth and death. Repeatedly, is just suffering in this cycle. Each and every species is just taking birth, death, old age, and disease. He's going back round and round, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Chakravyu. He never comes out actually. Only in this human form of life we get a rare opportunity, that we can perfect our human form. It's very rare, to hear that animals get an opportunity. It's only by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he could, make the Jarikhanda forest animals dance and, show his mercy to the animals also. So those animals got special blessings and they went back home, back to God. But for us, at least we have got this human form of. It's so rare actually. And Prabhupada is quoting here that, it's so rare that if we don't take it seriously, then what happens is we lose an opportunity, greatest opportunity. Like a diamond is given and we don't know the diamond, value of the diamond, and we use it as paperweight. You have heard this example, we heard it from Prabhupada, that we don't understand the value of diamond and people use it as paperweight. Like, Jambavan also, Jambavan got that diamond, Samantaka jewel. And what did he do? He never understood that it is producing gold or anything like that. He gave it to his child to play, not understanding what is the value of that thing. Though Krishna got troubled because of that thing. But, it's so important. If we don't understand the value, then we won't value and keep it very seriously. So this human form of life is so rare actually. And we got this actually, uh, we got this opportunity. And if we don't take it seriously now, lose a great opportunity. Uh, our acharyas, they have quoted so many songs, expressing that how it is important to take this form very seriously. Hari Hari Vifalesh Janma. That is one of the favorite songs. And in that he's telling Radha Krishna na bhajiya. No, Radha Krishna na bhajiya. Janiya Shuniya Vishya Khaino. Now drinking poison. If someone comes with a glass of poison, will you drink it? No, right? But we are drinking every day by not worshipping the Lord seriously. So it's like that, the day you are not worshipping the Lord seriously, you can understand is what you are drinking is, you are drinking poison. Someone is coming and giving you, or if not someone is coming and giving you, we are grabbing the poison and drinking it. We are engaging in sense gratification, or we are engaging in some other ways of not worshipping the Lordships. So it's very clear actually what the Shastras are telling. So this was one thing which I wanted to focus, how human form is very rare, to understand the importance of human form. And we should take this opportunity. We should perfect our practice of Krishna consciousness. Go back home, back to God. Such a important aspect for practicing devotee actually. Ahinder Prabhu used to tell that, in this lifetime I want to perfect chanting the pure name of Lord. I don't want to come to next life. So that should be the great aspiration of a devotee. That he should chant the holy name so purely that he perfects his life in this lifetime. Not that, like we can come, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has quoted this thing that, the perfection happens in 3 years, 3 lifetimes. So let me take one more lifetime, this lifetime I can practice whatever way I want, but maybe next lifetime. But who knows next lifetime where we will get, in what state we will get. So it's very important for us to take this form very seriously, human form. Next, I wanted to bring this theme of education system, because it's been told that one who is sufficiently intelligent should use this human form of life from the very beginning. In other words, from the tender age of childhood, practice the activities of devotional service and giving up all other engagement. Prabhupada writes, modern civilization, not referring to the verdicts of Vedic literatures, is so cruel to the members of human society that instead of teaching the children to become brahmacharis, it teaches the mother to kill the children even in the womb on the plea of curbing the increase of population. Prabhupada is very clearly telling, if you don't educate the children, then it's like our society is going into chaos. In one of the dialogues between Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada and one of the mothers of a devotee, and there was one more priest from priest from the church actually who had come, and they were having a dialogue actually. This was in 1973 in London, and during that time, Srila Prabhupada was asking that your child is doing. The mother had a plea that my child has come and joined your movement, but he has left his education. Has left his education, So mother was pleading that, please allow my son to go back to education. And Srila Prabhupada just asked, what is our education? What is the purpose of education? Please tell. And this mother was telling this education means, his understanding will increase more and more actually. And Prabhupada makes a very clear thing. Our Vedic culture teaches that the culmination of education is to understand God. That education is very important. Learning how to eat nicely, how to sleep nicely, how to have sex, and defend nicely is the education what has been given in the education system in the colleges nowadays. So he tells that mother tells, yes, I agree with you completely, but I have we see that a lot of brilliant people are there also who got educated actually. But he tells, but simply to become a doctor in a medical field will not save one. Unfortunately, most doctors do not believe in next life. That's what Prabhupada used to tell. Prabhupada is telling in his dialogue. And he tells, oh yes, I know few doctors who come to church. Mother was telling. If I know few doctors who come to church, they believe in next lifetime also. But then the dialogue goes very beautifully, and then Prabhupada tells a very beautiful. Our education, uh, our Krishna conscious movement is not depriving people of their education. We say, go on with your university education, but side by side, become competent to know God and to love Him. Then your life is perfect. He was telling this mother and the priest very clearly that you should go to the university and pursue your education, but side by side, become a lover of God. Know God and become a lover of God. If you don't do this thing, then there is no point in going for the education. What education is teaching is just to increase your sense gratification. So, what does the word education means? Education comes from the word educare, from Latin word educare, and it means to bring from within, within a good thing, it's like to lead us to bring something good from within actually. And then bringing out the unique thing, unique individual potential of a living entity, of every child, teaching them how to overcome the hurdles, shortcomings of the life and setbacks in the life. This is education, not education which teaches nowadays. What does it teach? If you're not able to take the pressure, you can just take a gun and kill your teacher, or you can kill the students or whomever you have like that. We see so many shootouts which takes place here in US actually. It has not started in India at least, but here we have seen so many places. Every now and then we hear. Why? Because the education system has been not teaching the child to what exactly the potential of the education. They are just teaching, they are ruining the child because they are teaching whatever they want actually. Just want to make sure that children are educated just to earn money. And earning money is not a big thing actually. It's not at all a big thing. Earning money, anyone can earn. In one of the dialogues between Sachi Mata and Jagannath Mishra, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like, Jagannath Mishra stops Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's education. He tells, I don't want to educate you now, because I am fearful that you will take sannyas. So during that dialogue, it's a very beautiful dialogue which was brought out by Radhanath Maharaj in one of the lectures. He tells what Jagannath Mishra is telling. See, I am a scholarly person, and now you see what is the condition of me. I don't have enough grains for feeding all of you. But you see that person, who is just opposite to us, who is living, and he is an uneducated person, and he has got so many people that Brahmins are coming and asking for alms actually every day. So is that education is something that is fulfilling the stomachs? No. Anyone can earn money. Nowadays, you just start a business and you can earn money. You don't need any education to do that thing. I still remember, we have learned so much in our, physics and other things in engineering times. Are we using it now? No. It's only just, grabbing more and more information. Our education systems have become like more and more how much the child can grab it and then vomit it at the time of exam. Is it not? Grabbing it and vomiting it. If they are very intelligent enough, they can do that thing so perfectly, they are number one actually in the class. If the person is not intelligent enough, then he's the fool number one. Though he might be a good artist or something like that, but that is not into consideration. But what is more important is how much he's able to grab it actually, how much he's able to just take it. So this education system will not sustain actually. So in one of the talks between Radhanath Maharaj and a few of his disciples, he was telling about this particular type of education system may program young people with incredible amount of data, which they are going to forget 99% anyway. 99% they will forget anyway. That is for sure, this education system. I don't remember any physics formula which I have learned in engineering, say, third year. Now, I have, almost like 10 years, 12 years. I have never used it apart from applying in the exam. But now there is no use also of me using that thing. But during that time, it was very important because that was there in the system. So our education system is just helping in this way actually to grab, to make us understand about these things. One of the I came across one of the letters of Urmila Mataji, and in that, she writes very beautifully about education system. She writes that what are the three tests that the education system is working for children. She writes that first test is she quotes the sloka of this Chanakya Pandit, Matravat Pardareshu. In that she writes that very clearly. First test is how much is the education system helping people to overcome the desire for sex life, and how much are they respecting women. If they are not respecting women, if they are not able to respect women properly, if they are just looking towards the woman as an object of sense enjoyment, then what is the point of this education system? So in Vedic society, what was the education system? It was very clear actually that the boys were trained to address women as Matajis. Now if we somehow or the other ask, go outside and tell Mataji, everyone gets shocked. Why are you calling me Mataji? It's like a very elderly thing, Yeah, now ISKCON also we are calling as Prabhus actually. We feel so inferiority complex, like I don't know what is the thing. But if we are not able to come to this understanding that we are not giving proper respect to women actually, then that is a fault actually in the education system. And then we become so lusty just by becoming an education system. And this is something which is not making the child grow actually. Eventually we see after the education, they complete their education system. What they do is they become like so lusty actually. Then they do, they don't want to marry nowadays. The marriage system has been like totally been spoiled because they just want to have live-in relationship or live with the now living relationship is also not there. They have like 4 or 5 partners. I heard somewhere recently, like they can just choose any partner, whichever partner they want to spend time with or spend their emotions or energy in that part in that. So if we have this kind of education system, then it's very, very spoiling. Second test, as the shloka goes, it writes that garbage in the street. How does a student look, pardareshu, he looks upon the other property or stones as garbage in the street. If he's not having that vision, that, she writes that, if a student goes to another desk without the permission of that student and grabs something, that is something, there is something wrong in the character of the student. He is not able to understand. So this education system has to deal with this problem of lust, greed. That is what Urmila Mataji was telling in this talk. And how to see others also. Atmavat sarva bhutesham, bhuteshu. An educated system should see that I want others to treat the way others want me to treat. Like, I expect respect, then I respectfully deal with others. This is what it is meant for. How people should treat me, the same way I also treat the people around. If we don't treat the people around very nicely, then we expect that there's a fault in the education system. So this is few things what Urmila Mataji was bringing, that, if you don't have respectful dealings, if you don't know how to deal with that people around, nowadays people don't know how to deal also. It's very, very difficult actually. They have not been trained because of the education system is so ruined actually by this thing. So it's our responsibility as a Krishna conscious devotee that we educate our children very nicely. And how do we educate our children very nicely is, make our, we have to make our home into such an ambience that the children are educated very nicely actually in Krishna consciousness. Activities, giving them a opportunity to learn about Krishna from the very beginning of the life, giving them to hear about Krishna from the very beginning of the life. If we don't do this thing, then a point comes when we will raise a question that, in spite of being Krishna conscious, our children are not becoming Krishna. So, and then we, tell that, there's something which is not working here properly. So it always is on our part, the parents' part, that, they should take this thing very, very seriously actually. That how they are supposed to educate the children actually. It's very important. It's one of the important aspects what Srila Prabhupada has quoted many times, that our children, if they are taken very nice care, they will become great leaders eventually. And they will be the one who will be taking this Krishna consciousness movement ahead. The third generation of devotees which will be coming will be the strongest devotees actually. But for that, we need to become very strong and give that culture to them, give that samskaras to the children. Unless we don't give that thing, then it's very difficult actually for the children to have this thing. So this was one thing which I wanted to bring about. And the last theme which I wanted to bring is about practicing of devotional service can save from greatest danger. A small practice. Jai Shri Radha Madhav ki Jai, Shri Gaunitai ki Jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ki. Kalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhat. Even a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. What is the greatest fear we have? Death. That is the greatest fear for a human being actually. That during the time of death, everything will be taken away. Everything will be gone. Nothing will remain with us. Everything will be taken away. And this fear is one of the greatest fear, which is causing great havoc actually in the life of so many people around. That tomorrow what will happen after I leave my body. This life they are trying to enjoy, but they cannot enjoy. But at the end of the life, they always think, at least let me, see what I can get. And this fear of losing everything is one of the greatest fear actually. How Lord protects actually is very, very inconceivable also in one way. We may, as a devotee, we have seen that, since we start practicing Krishna consciousness, it's very easy for us to overcome this fear of death. Why? Because we are taking shelter of one who is giving fearlessness. Vajahu Remana, Pinandanandana, Abhaya Charnara Vindare. We are taking shelter of Lord who is giving us shelter actually. He's giving us shelter because he's removing that fear. He's removing that fear because as soon as we leave this body as a devotee, the next body is ready for us. The spiritual body is ready for us. But only thing our practice is, only fear comes when our practices are not very strong. Then there is fear in the heart. What will happen next? But if we are sincerely practicing our path, then we can overcome this fear very easily. It's not a big thing in one way to overcome this fear. And a small practice, how it can save save the living entity in the greatest danger. We see Ajamil just practiced little bit of devotional service by chanting the name of the Lord. And the Lord was so merciful that he sent his Vishnuduts to protect him from Yamduts. Right? One of the greatest, the episode of Ajamil shows how Lord is so merciful, trying to protect each and every living entity actually, whoever becomes sincere in practice of devotional service. So if we become sincere, the Lord is ready to protect us. But all it depends is our sincerity. Krishna is just asking us to become sincere in our practice of devotion. And if we are able to do that thing, then Lord gives great amount of protection, great amount of protection. See so many examples in our Krishna conscious movement also. So many examples how devotees have left their body. Before leaving the body, I've seen few examples. One example I heard about this thing was for that the small girl who was like, on the road, and there was a truck which was coming at the great speed, and she was the, lover of Narsimha Dev, every time chanting the name of Narsimha. And Narsimha Dev, eventually came during the time of crisis and lifted her and put them on the ground on the other side of the road. Parents saw on from the other side of the road and they were stuck that the girl might have been dead by the time they reached there. And when they saw the girl was so absolutely proper, there was not even a small bruise or anything like that. Only bruise was scratch was of the nails of Narsimha Dev. Can we understand Narsimha Dev picking up the girl and then putting her there just because the nails are very big, she got scratched little bit, and she still has that devotee still has it actually. So it's so wonderful that Lord protects us. One more example comes to my mind is during this terrorist attack which had taken place in 26/11 in Taj Hotel. During that time, it was like a very disastrous thing what had taken place. But during that time, one of the person who was like who was a military, who was in the military, he was like going for attacking the terrorist, and this person happened to be a devotee, just upcoming devotee, not even a devotee, not even an initiated. He was just upcoming devotee. Then he was like into such a great fear that time because they were shooting. They had like more sophisticated weapons than us, and they were shooting like anything in the room. And he was just singing Narsimha Arti. And during that time, there were three of them, three of his members who were there with him. And they were shooting so blindly without knowing, whom they are striking. And, he saw that three of the out of three members in the room, two died actually. And this person was saved. And this person was saved exactly there was small pillar which was there, and he had just taken shelter of the pillar. And during that time, he was singing in Narsimha Arti also. So he told that, Narsimhadev in the form of the pillar protected him. And all bullets went from his, he had a bag. The bag, got, holes with the bullet and other things. But he did not get a small bullet hit. So he got some, he was fighting in the battlefield. He got some injuries, but no, he was not hit by a bullet. He was telling how Narsimhadev can protect even the greatest crisis. He came and told this thing in the Chopadi temple actually. We heard later on. So how Lord protects even in the greatest danger. We see anytime you take shelter of the Lord in dangerous situation, Lord protects the his devotee. Lord never is Lord for Gajendra, Lord came immediately leaving all his occupation with Mother Lakshmi, and then immediately came to protect Gajendra. So we practice small sincere devotional service. Lord will come and protect us. Is giving that assurance, full assurance policy is given by Lord on. No other insurance policy is giving that assurance policy that they will give 100% protection apart from the Lord. The Lord is giving that protection policy. Sudama, what did he bring? He brought just a little bit of flat rice, but it was with such great devotion that Lord wanted to give him so much. Lord wanted to give him so much that he gave him, Mother Lakshmi had to stop, Rukmini Devi had to stop literally his hand. Just a sincere practice of Sudama, had loving devotion towards Lord Krishna, wanted to reciprocate by giving him few grains of poha, chipped rice. Rukmini Devi had to literally beg him, please don't give more, or else what will happen to us? Lakshmi Devi is asking, don't give more, Lakshmi. Imagine like this. A single piece of currency also, without having the stamp of government is no value actually. Same way is with us also. Heaps and heaps of, activities what we do in the material life. If there is no devotion, there is no value. There is no value at all. So we need that uh, thing, we need that bhakti actually in our life. If we add bhakti to the same activities, it becomes such a valuable thing. But the same things become so invaluable in the vision of the Lord. So it's very important for us to understand how important this practice of bhakti is. Very, very important. Very important. And I have seen literally, when I was in Pune, uh, we had one congregation girl who had got disease actually, and she was about to leave her body eventually. But she was preparing her consciousness. She was like, the parents had prepared her consciousness so beautifully that even though the doctors were telling that she was going through so much pain, but there was always a smile on her, always a smile. And she could feel, we could sense it also. We went to the hospital also, we saw, and we could sense that she's so blissful. Not the blissful what we know, the smiles what we others have, but she was so blissful just remembering Lord Krishna. 8 years girl, it's like she could perfect her life actually, and her thought was that I'm going to Radha and Krishna. So that is the perfection what one can achieve in this life actually. The Lord is telling, just practice sincere devotion. And she was not chanting 16 rounds or anything like that during that time, but her remembrance became so strong actually that every time there was like some topic of Krishna which was discussed with her. She used to ask her mother, can you read this pastime of Krishna from Krishna? Can you read this pastime of? That was her meditation. During her leaving of body. And she left her body, it was like such a pain for the complete congregation. That how did she live? We were so proud also that with the way she left the body, but we were so astonished also that Krishna had taken her in a very beautiful way. We saw the example of one more congregation devotee was Saraswati Mataji actually. She left her body. She was also in great pain, in cancer within short period of time, and she left her body. But her consciousness was so pure that I did not do enough for Krishna. Will Krishna take me? That was the last question she asked to his spiritual master. And Maharaj gave a complete assurance. You have done enough actually. And she was such a great preacher that she was having 7 days program. She was lover of Bhagavad Gita. Every day she used to spend time with anyone she finds. She makes a group and then have a class for them. It was like that. She was having like travel for at least for 5 to 8 years. She was having everyday program actually, every day. It was like so stunning for us, the preaching ability and the strength she had for doing that thing. It was so amazing. In fact, the Bhakti Riksha, what they had was 300 members. And we imagine now if we have that thing, it can become a temple here. But that was, and they were the pioneer actually of the you know the ISKCON temple, camp temple. They were like the one who were helping a lot with the preaching things. And Jayadev Prabhu and Satyavati Mataji is like very beautiful example. And when she left her body, it was like again great pain for us. But Krishna shows just by practicing sincere devotions to go back home, back to everyone was assured that she has gone back. Krishna gives this assurance that practice and I will protect you. Greatest danger of losing this human form of life. So we have heard, it's like human form of life is so very rare, and if you don't take it seriously, don't practice devotion, very very not achieve the perfection. So it's all on our part now. How much sincere we are to practice this devotional service, understanding the rarity of this human form and devotion. Thank you very much. Now it's almost 8:40. Do you have any
So you spoke about having the human form as being very rare, but just as you mentioned about familiarity, it doesn't seem so rare.
Yeah.
But actually, um, those taking up devotional service, that seems to be so rare. Getting a human birth and taking um, the
Practice.
path of devotional
Yes.
service, that seems so rare. But this is just like an observation that, as you mentioned, because of the familiarity, the human birth may not seem so rare. So that's just a observation. And so for those who have taken up the human birth, but never get any exposure to Krishna consciousness, and then you're still saying that the human birth is so rare. So what is their fate in their next life?
What is their
What
fate?
is their fate?
What happens is, because of the ignorance, most of the people don't come to Krishna consciousness. Because being ignorant that what is the best thing they have supposed to do, and they don't get an opportunity to come very closer to Krishna consciousness, practice Krishna consciousness, and they lose an opportunity in this human form of life. In one of the purports of 8th canto, Srila Prabhupada writes that avidya or ignorance is one of the greatest cause for a living entity to get stuck in this material world, because he doesn't get out of this avidya. And how does this avidya is destroyed? Is by knowledge. Without knowledge, this is not destroyed. And knowledge is given by a devotee only, because he knows what is the best knowledge he can, a person can get is to become Krishna conscious. So this knowledge is given by devotee only. And if it is a responsibility in one way of a devotee to protect as many souls as possible, to bring them closer to Krishna actually. So every devotee has a great responsibility in one way, that we see so many people around that they cannot take an opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness. So we should feel every time that I am not doing much to bring these souls actually to the lotus feet of Radha Madhav actually. So this is one thing which should be the thought process of a devotee. But what happens to their faith is they lose an opportunity, and they again go back into the cycle of birth and death. Because they have not practiced devotional service at all. But by chance, anyhow or somehow or the other, if they get an opportunity to appreciate a devotee or to hear a holy name or to chant the holy name, it might be possible that Krishna, being very merciful to them, may give them another opportunity to practice devotional service in the next life also. In whatever life they get, according to their activities or according to the consciousness what they live during the time of death. So it all depends on their consciousness, their activities, but the responsibility lies on devotees, how much they are trying to give Krishna consciousness to others. So that we bring a lot of people who are suffering. Now we are so happy. Yesterday we had so many youths coming actually. It's something which few of the devotees here started going to colleges and getting in touch with the youths. Or else initially it was not there at all. Though there were so many, and now these youths, they get an opportunity to learn about Krishna, learn to practice devotional service. Such a important thing for them. So it's our responsibility in one way. Whatever capacity we have, we should try go out and try to save few souls, whatever way we.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And my second question
Yes.
regarding some scholars, you spoke about education. So there's like a tremendous pressure like the students have, whether in high school, college, and they're under so much pressure that they're always studying for their college studies or high school studies, and they get very little time to devote to Krishna consciousness. So, what is your recommendation for students who are in that kind of a situation?
As a parent, one should not force the student actually, or force his children that they should be always be number one. That is one thing from the parents, that we never force that we want the children to be so competent enough that they are like that pressure is also there. Recently I saw a status yesterday. I was telling in the class also, I saw a status of a person, small young boy actually, doing his 12th grade. He was feeling so much pressured in the classroom that he just got up from his table, from his bench, walked outside, and from the balcony he jumped down to the floor. He died, just committed suicide in front of all his friends, in front of his class teacher and everyone. He just walked out. There's a clip actually which went viral, I think. And this was telling, please understand the pressure the student is facing. So if the student is facing so much pressure because of the anxiety of education, is that system very good? Check that system. In one way, now we cannot check that. We have put our students, our children in that education system. But we don't increase the pressure from our side that you have to do this thing. Deadline, you have to just complete that thing. That should not be the pressure, at least from parents' side. Maybe, parents, what the best they can do is make the ambience in the home as Krishna conscious as possible. So outside they may not become Krishna conscious, but in the internal home, their ambience is very Krishna, and there is always an opportunity that they will get an opportunity.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, wonderful lecture. I really love the way your thematic presentation, and then Prabhupada's few snippets were so wonderful itself, and the examples. Prabhuji, this is the fact. I personally feel that the kids are getting pressurized because the parents are living their dreams through the kids, basically. Parents are going to achieve anything what they want in life. So they said, oh, even though Krishna conscious, they realized that, but they said, oh, you should do this, and this is why kids are pressured itself, because I see sometimes the homeschool kids itself, completely different, but then other side is there are kids are going to the schools, and schools they are getting, it's like Prabhupada says, slaughterhouses. So when you go there, other kid is like going forward on first grade, and the kid said competitive nature happened itself for that one. And as you said, Prabhuji, that unless we have to say that it's not about winning or losing, it's just ultimately to just focus on Krishna consciousness. And that's why it's so important that hopefully we could have many, many Krishna conscious schools rather than for that one.
Correct. Many schools actually saves. Having many schools for these children, very important.
Prabhuji, wonderful class. It was really thought-provoking. I was contemplating on the purport that you're mentioning, the life lessons of Urmila Mataji. Those are really wonderful. And the examples you gave were also very wonderful, which are current time examples, so that we can build our trust and faith and worship Lord more sincerely. The one thing that really stuck my mind was when you were mentioning about mothers in the purport. So parents have become selfish in the modern society, that they don't want to even give a jiva opportunity to become a human being, and they abort. And some jivas who are willing to raise children, they are putting in a wrong education system, and which is where they teach lust and greed. And that lust and greed is Krishna clearly confirmed that it is going to lead them to hell. So now, for kids who ask parents, mother, why should I die? Dad, why should I die? Can I not die? Can I remain permanently alive? They have no solution. And they don't offer such solution for the kids. Neither they can offer solution, nor they want Shastra to teach them the solution. And wonderfully you quoted that how to live and how to leave the body, which is the real education system teaches in our Vedic knowledge. And the wonderful Vaishnava bhajans that you have quoted, Roji. What is it? Chaniya Sunya Vishakhailu. This is very nicely quoted. I will relish all these points you told today. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Comments, question. Last question, comment. And thank you, Prabhu. It's a wonderful class, amazing class. I will ask one question.
Yeah.
So
Sundaranand Prabhu always has question for Radhisham Prabhu in Bhaktavali also. If no one is asking, Prabhuji, I have something.
While you're sharing the amazing class, you were sharing how we need to do two portions. You said in the beginning, Prabhupada was quoting side by side. We need to do education
Yes.
and also devotion service, and then you were saying we should also add bhakti to whatever we are doing. If you can share, there are some students also here. So for all of us also, how to do add bhakti in our whatever we do.
Actually, while studying, it's very important. Like now, we are part of the education system, most of us, and we cannot leave the education system in between. Where great responsibility is there that at least, parents also expect that we complete our education. But at the same time, we have gotten greatest opportunity is to add Krishna to that same education system. How do we do that? Is by, practicing this process of devotion service, which Prahalad Maharaj tells. If we take the process of chanting, if we take the process, simple thing, like yesterday also we were discussing, if we just follow the ABCD in very nicely in our way, getting to associate with devotees, that is more important actually. By association, what happens is all our thought process of the education system, what has been imbibed in us, gets cleared off, and then we get a clear vision. What is our vision in the life? So association is very important. Chanting is so important. If we chant, then we understand how our minds are so impure and how we can actually make the mind more purified just by chanting the holy name of the Lord. So education also, even while studying also, what we can do is our remembrance of Krishna can increase more. When I used to study for my exams, what I used to do, I used to play very nice soft kirtan of Madhav Prabhu or, Loknath Maharaj or any Maharaj which was like Bibi Govind Maharaj. And we used to play that kirtan and used to study also. So it, people, like students, most of the students, what they like, they like to hear music and study. Same way we just dovetail the same thing with Krishna conscious activities. Like while hearing kirtan, you just, study. I still remember the tunes, what, I heard for while studying actually. So those went more deeper actually. Because we were doing it in the morning or we were doing it in the night when we were studying. So changing our things, material things with spiritual things is required actually. Having a proper Krishna conscious diet, to eat prasad, that is one of the best things if we can do that thing. And to read the right books. Sometimes we don't read the right books only. We just see nowadays the phone has taken all the time, reels have taken all the time. Even the small children, they don't leave the phone actually. I've seen my sister's child who is like just 1 year. He cannot eat without watching a video of his cartoon, It's like nowadays the trend is like that, I think. All the small children. So instead of that, show something of Krishna actually. Krishna or Rama, we have so many things which we can replace with. So this is how we should do. Then, it's very easy for us to become more Krishna conscious while studying also. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Then I seek blessings from all devotees so that, I can practice very nicely. Those sitting here and telling is very easy. But living by these principles is a great challenge actually. The moment we step down of the Vyasasana, there is challenge for everyone. So I also face the same challenge. So please bless me so that I'll be able to practice very sincerely whatever I have said. And seek your blessings by touching your lotus feet. Ancha kalpataru. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I think it was such a wonderful class. I was just thinking that this class which Prabhuji gave should be in Sunday feast. Because so many parents are struggling through that. Krishna conscious parents and outside also. They don't know how to, and the competitive nature, all the stuff. How nicely Prabhu has given itself. So maybe in future, if Prabhuji has time, we can have a nice Sunday feast class with Prabhuji. So more people can benefit from that. Thank you, Prabhuji. So wonderful to have you always here, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.